state has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
Welcome to Woodward Sports. I am Justin Satawa. I am joined by Haley Scott, and what a remarkable week one of college football it was. Michigan State both got active. Ohio State, Texas. We're going to bring all of it to you. Haley, why don't you run us through the topics of the day as we are here on a wonderful Tuesday night?
I am so excited because we are talking about everything under the sun. Think about it. Ryan Day's nipple piercing. Bryce Underwood's hometown heroic ship, the games that occurred for week one, and so much more. I'm so excited to get into it.
We also have Ryan, of course, in the TD booth, holding it down. Appreciate him being here, as always. But lots to get into. But first, we got to take a second and enjoy the season because week one of college football comes around once a year, and we got to make sure that we give it its due. So thank you guys in chat, John Effing Lord, Mike Reed for being here. We appreciate you and everyone else. Make sure you smash that like button. You're already here. So please help us out. Haley, what was your favorite thing about week one as college football season has officially become in full swing?
I had the pleasure of traveling to Charlotte, North Carolina this past Labor Day weekend. It was so nice, and I'm not sure how the weather was here. But
it was nice.
Yeah? Okay, good. But it was really nice there, and to kind of conclude our trip, we went out on Sunday, and I was so happy to go to a sports bar and watch the Notre Dame-Miami game and see that my pick was correct in Miami winning. So
yes.
That was my highlight.
Got to give yourself some flowers there. Went on a limb and picked Miami. Ryan, what was your favorite thing week one college football?
My favorite thing was the fact that we had college football. Like just it being on the TV and just enjoying it. I didn't do much Saturday besides sit on my couch and watch every single game that I could possibly watch. But most importantly, I saw Michigan throw the forward pass. I was ecstatic. And that was so awesome to watch. Like, I enjoyed watching that game so much.
Yeah, it was so awesome to watch. 100%. Loved seeing Bryce Underwood go out there and sling the bean a little bit. But we're going to get into that. I'm excited to talk about Bryce Underwood in particular. So let's, before we do that, have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
Do you believe that this was a nipple piercing by Ryan Day? Is Ryan Day, come on. I don't know what everyone's looking at there, but to me, that looks like a nipple piercing.
It does.
Let us know in chat, because Haley?
I'm going to say yes, because you don't know what he's up to in his private life, right?
No, we do not. And, I mean, I can't lie. The way that Ohio State plays sometimes against Michigan, it would be very on brand for Ryan Day to have a nipple piercing. Ryan?
I don't think that's a nipple piercing. I just think I just think he was amped up for the game.
You just think the nips are hard because Texas is in town?
I just think the nips are hard. It's warm outside. I'm sure he was fine. He was just amped up. You had Lee Corso's final pick. He was amped up.
Yeah, I mean,
that just doesn't look like a nipple piercing.
He must have been bricked up when Lee Corso put on the Buckeye head center stage. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. They're giving Corso all this material. I mean, everyone's saying it is. Everyone in chat is agreeing that it is a nipple piercing. Mike Reed, Noah Messi, both on our wavelength. Literally, what else could it be? Is his, not to go into depth here, is his nipple oddly shaped to look like that's where we're getting to here? It's either oddly shaped or he has a nipple piercing.
Or he has extra nipples.
He's not, he doesn't have 4 nipples, you guys think, do you?
He might have 4.
Oh, God.
He could. And I wouldn't put it past
He also
him.
dyes his beard.
But what a great way to start the show. I think it's a mystery. We will have to wait and see on the Ryan Day nipple piercing saga.
But guys, comment down below how your Labor Day weekend was, because I'm curious to know. Hopefully everyone had a good weekend.
Well, Bryce Underwood had a great Labor Day as
absolutely.
he was able to don the maize and blue for the first time in his Michigan career. And he said how lucky he was to bestow that honor and be Michigan's starting quarterback in game number 1. So we'll talk about the rest of the team in a second. I think it's important to start with Bryce Underwood specifically. I want to know if Bryce Underwood met your expectations for game 1 and how you feel initially about him going forward.
Absolutely. I'm feeling good about it. I feel like he was definitely hyped, but not overhyped because of all of the achievements that he already has under his belt, as well as what he is supposed to offer for Michigan moving forward. I feel like this first game was great for him. He had a lot of good plays, showed a lot of accuracy and precision. And obviously they played New Mexico, so we kind of knew that was going to be a win. But this definitely sets the tone moving forward because this is his first game starting QB. He's only 18 years old, but he's, in my opinion, living up to the hype of being the number 1 recruit, and like I've said before, going to change the game for Michigan football and overall just be a quarterback for Michigan football that we've really never seen before.
I would say, before we get to Justin's opinion, Haley, someone did spend Labor Day, or said what they did for Labor Day. Mark Satawa said, I had to spend Labor Day with Justin.
Wow,
I feel bad for you, Mr. Satawa.
Me and my dad had a great time this weekend. We watched a ton of football and got to spend a ton of time together. It was great. I really enjoyed it. So shout out to my dad.
Shout out.
Shout out, Mr. Satawa.
But in terms of Bryce Underwood, I am just excited that we have a capable passer on this team. I mean, if you go back to week 1 of last year, we're talking about Davis Warren throwing a multiple interception game to lead things off against Arkansas State. I think we can agree that the starting point this year is much better than it has been in the past. I think that's a no-brainer. Where I did become very impressed was when he was moving around the pocket, the poise that he showed as a freshman quarterback. I know it's New Mexico, but still, being able to come in, have the command that he had of this offense, being able to make the throws, the beautiful pass he had to Klein up the sideline on that wheel route where he leaked the linebackers behind him and led Klein, putting it over the 2 linebackers. That was an elite throw. Then he had another one rolling out to the right, throwing crossbody. Very nice pass. He's showing a lot of raw throwing power and great poise. Where I do think he is going to run into trouble, there was a few of those throws that were a little too quick, and that he should have been tucked the. I know he's not going to tuck the ball against New Mexico, okay, but he will against Oklahoma. And there's a few times that I felt like he should have either kept the ball, made a check down, or run for a first down, where he did put the ball in harm's way, and a defense like Oklahoma will make him pay.
Absolutely. He did have some drops during that game, but for a first game, I would like to think that we're both pretty satisfied with that. Not that this is comparative, but it's just because I saw some podcast talking about this, but they were comparing Arch Manning to Bryce Underwood, which, like I said, I do think it's like apples to oranges. Of course, Texas had to play Ohio State and lost, and Arch Manning did not play very well, but just in the aspect of hype, these are 2 starting quarterbacks that were very, very hyped. And I feel like being faced with similar adversities as a quarterback, Bryce Underwood came out, he showed the precision and was able to make those like game time decisions that Arch Manning kind of fell short with. Obviously, Michigan played New Mexico, so it was obviously easier for them, but just in that aspect, I was satisfied to see that Bryce was able to like live up to the hype so far.
And Woodward Sports Chat, Mike Reed, I was happy with the way that Bryce Underwood played. I was as well. I thought you saw a lot of great things. I do think that this is similar to what Arch Manning showed you last year when he played Mississippi State, and he showed you that he is a capable quarterback, which I do think people are overstepping on the way that they're talking about Arch Manning, which we'll get into that later. But at the end of the day, Bryce Underwood's composure, that is something that I didn't see out of Arch Manning, which is what I wanted to see. And it's going to really be a true test when he goes to Oklahoma. Ryan, as low-key the resident Michigan Slappy on the show, how do you feel about Bryce Underwood's performance?
Yeah, I was really impressed with it. He kind of shocked me. I thought Underwood was really going to struggle. I thought we were going to see some freshman mistakes, and we didn't really for the most part. I think sometimes he's got to calm it down a little bit with some of his passes because they're coming in hot. But other than that, I would say the 2-minute drive was the most important thing I saw from him because it's all composure. That 3rd down and 14 throw was the most impressive thing that I saw. I was talking to my dad about it during the game. I go, it's 3rd down and 8 last year. Just punt the football. They're not getting the first down. But with Underwood back there was some really good composure. He was really loose. I thought especially coming out of the game, you kind of saw him jumping around, hyping himself up, coming out of the field. But Underwood really, really impressed me. And I didn't expect that, but obviously as the season goes on, I'm going to have to see him under the spotlight a little bit more, and I think you're going to see those freshman mistakes. But he was really accurate. But other than that, and the wide receivers let him down a couple of times. Some of those were horrible drops. But other than that, Underwood was really impressive for me.
I completely agree. I think that maybe it's a good time to talk about how the rest of that game went.
100%.
Besides Bryce Underwood.
Yes, let's hit on what is your biggest takeaway from Michigan outside of Bryce Underwood?
My biggest takeaway is probably Justice Haynes and his performance. He did 2 50-plus yard runs. I just think his level of athleticism for his position is almost unmatched from previous players. And he really came out super, super explosive, and I'm really looking forward to see what else he has to offer.
Great combination of speed and power from him. The offensive line was doing a great job being able to find big holes for him to run through, and he's a great finisher. He's very quick when he gets out into space. I can't wait to see him against higher level competition, but I think that he is showing you the flashes that we did assume that we were going to see, and I think that Justice Haynes is going to be a great addition to this backfield and possibly another one of these great Michigan running backs. I think he is just as talented as many of the backs before him. So the jury's still out on that one, but I'm not going to be too quick to saying that there is a legitimate possibility that he could be one of the best backs in recent history for the University of Michigan. And that includes the likes of Blake Corum and Hassan Haskins because he is a very gifted runner.
I would say, for me, the most impressive thing for Michigan outside of Bryce Underwood, I'm going to go 2 players. I'm going to go Nate Marshall, the true freshman, former top 50 recruit, absolutely dominated New Mexico's offensive line. And I'm going to go Cole Sullivan as well. He had an interception, and he's going to have to play that first half against Oklahoma. No Jayshon Barham, but those 2 really stuck out for me. I know it's New Mexico, and that's not the greatest competition in the world, but I thought those 2 were phenomenal.
I liked what I saw out of the defense. I thought that I would have liked a little bit more pressure. I just think that they weren't hitting home at the rate I would have liked. But we will see when it goes down to Norman how good this defense really is. I don't question the talent, but I do think that there was some early season regression to be expected when you lose Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant to top 25 draft picks. And that's where I'm willing to give them a little bit of rope because I 100% believe that this defense will be up to par by the time they play Ohio State at the end of the season. Where they are right now is to be seen.
Right. I think a concern that I have with them is their O-line. It looked a little bit inconsistent in the New Mexico game. I think that it is better than last season, but still something that needs to be improved, especially for the games moving forward.
When they brought some complex blitzes at this young offensive line, it did give them a little bit of trouble, especially because Bryce Underwood was also his first game, and that's something I do expect to improve. I do agree the O-line does need to play better, and they will be the driving force if they win in Norman, will be how good the offensive line play. My biggest takeaway is that this receiver room is legit. It has been a long time since Michigan can say they have 3 solid wide receivers out there that can all play. At least to a average level. The jury's still out. We'll see when it comes to Big Ten play how much a 6'5" Xavier McCulley is really going to make a difference. But he appears to be a big red zone threat that they should be able to isolate him. I do like Goodwin a lot. I think he made some great plays for Bryce Underwood. The chemistry's there, freshman to freshman, so I like that a lot. And then you hit on it, preseason. Samaj Morgan really coming into his own as the slot guy in this offense. And then obviously Klein, second most receiving yards that a tight end has put up in the last 3 years. That is including Colston Loveland, so I like what I see there. I think Klein showed a lot of promise as well. I really like what Michigan's doing with their skill positions. I think that they have the opportunity to be just as good as any skill position group that Michigan has had in the last 5 years.
One notable thing that happened during that game is Jay-Sean Barham's targeting call,
Yes.
which I do think we should talk about.
No doubt.
I was on the morning show with Sean and Maz this morning, and they talked about it quite a bit, and it's been a huge debate on if that call was just or unjust.
Yes, there has been, and I think that there is a lot of validity to the people who say that it wasn't targeting. I do think that there is a lot of evidence that shows it was targeting. The helmets collide. It sucks because the smaller player gets the brunt of the collision. Barham is a massive human being, and New Mexico's quarterback is not that big, so the helmet just naturally went into his helmet. I don't think it was vicious. I don't understand, though, why the suspension was upheld, because they said it wasn't a targeting call, the Big Ten did. So I don't understand that part of it, but I do think there's a lot of reasons they could have called the targeting, and at the end of the day, I'm not necessarily mad about it. As I do agree, football should be football. There still has to be an element of player safety, especially in college.
Yeah, like I watched the clip back. From my point of view, it looked head on, head to head, mask to mask, or whatever you say. But I think going as far as taking him out of the first half of the upcoming Oklahoma game
that's going to be a big factor.
It's going to be a big factor. It's super unfortunate, and I'm just trying to decipher to what extent of like a foul is, like, are you allowed to push the penalties? You know what I mean? For the player.
Here's what I'll say. The thing that doesn't make sense to me is Ernest Hausman did the same thing with the running back later on in the fourth quarter, same style of hit, and there's no targeting. So if that's not targeting, then Barham should not have been targeting. But if Barham's is targeting, Hausman should have been targeting. I don't like the inconsistency. Yeah, it's a big blow to Michigan with Barham being out for a half, but you just got to have some level of consistency with it, and we just have not seen that in that game.
Yeah, I think that you definitely could argue the inconsistencies of targeting because there are many. I won't disagree with that point, but at the end of the day, I am a player safety guy. I think it's important, and I think that it's just an unfortunate situation. Michigan's going to have to rally. They have the depth at linebacker to be able to take this loss for a half. I am interested to see how this affects the game, though, with Barham coming in halfway through. Is it going to be too little, too late? Is it going to be the push that they need? We shall see.
Right. Should we move on to?
Yes. New look Sparty. Is Sparty the new look? Are they the new thing? Are they primed and ready to go after it this season? I think that the jury's out, but Miss Haley, how are you feeling about the Sparties?
I think that they look okay as far as their game against Western Michigan went. Obviously they won, but I still don't think that they looked great. Especially in the second half, they showed a lot of ugliness, and I feel like Aiden Childs was not protected. He got sacked like 4 times. He really didn't throw many deep balls, which is okay going up against Western Michigan. I don't think it was too necessary, but moving forward, that's definitely something that I will be looking out for, because you definitely need a deep ball game playing against this bigger competition. But I mean, it's hard to give so much input on these games that are just not so competitive, and I really think week 2 will be a bigger testament.
Yes, I think when power forward matchups do occur, you really do find out about teams, especially when Michigan State the jury's still out, but I do think there was a lot of good things in this game. I think Michigan State has a great three-headed monster at receiver. I think Kelly, McCray, and Nick Marsh is an elite trio. I think it's one of the best in the country. And I think that Aiden Childs has all the arm talent in the world to make this team go. My issue is I still felt like there was the old Aiden Childs in there. He started the game off so strong. He looked so decisive. He looked like he was making all the throws. And then they go 0 in the second half. And he looked kind of pedestrian. There was times where he didn't get rid of the ball. There's times where he didn't scramble. There was times where the turnovers came back. I struggle to fully say that I'm there with Aiden Childs, but I do believe that he did show some very nice things. I am hoping that he is able to have a very decisive game against Boston College because it's going to be a competitive game, and he's going to have that competitive mindset, not to take that step back like he did in the second half against Western. Right.
And this was a conversation before the season had started on if Aiden Childs would have like a leap forward year. I did say yes. He seemed a bit stagnant, if you will.
That's fair.
Maybe falling short under pressure and things like that, which it's only going to get harder. So, it's hard to tell, but I do think that with his weapons around him, he can put up a good fight. I want to give a shout out to Krishan McCray. Yeah, the wide receiver. He had a good game. He's a transfer from Kent State, and he was kind of on my radar before the season started because he didn't really get like a good rap at Kent State as far as like showing his abilities. So I feel really optimistic for him. I'm excited for him to get some more playing time and see what else he can do as a wide receiver.
Yes, I think that he showed great flashes, and it's going to be up to Aiden Childs to unlock this team. I truly think that everywhere on Michigan State's roster, they took a step forward. Offensive line, defense, receivers, running backs. I think they're all very solid units. I think they're a better team than they were last year, but it totally hinders on the success of Aiden Childs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I don't know what goes on with Jonathan Smith during halftime. I don't know if his halftime adjustments suck. His pregame speech is way better than his halftime speech. But Michigan State and Jonathan Smith in the year that they had last year and then in this game, they struggle in the second half. Jonathan Smith has not won a second half since his first game against Prairie View A&M. And that's first game of the season last year. So I don't know what in the world he's got to do to get this team motivated. I don't know if it's the pregame halftime adjustments, the pregame script, whatever it is, but they got to get it going. Everything rides with this team with Aiden Childs, just the way Michigan, everything rides with them and Bryce Underwood. I thought the offensive line play was much better than last year. I thought they were kind of messing around with it, moving guys in and out, and that's what kind of hurt their continuity in that second half. But they've got to figure something out in this second half if they're going to want to make a bowl game, and especially in this Boston College game, which is a game that they should have won last year, and I think they do win this one this time around, but something's got to change in the second half.
Let's go right into it there.
Yeah.
I mean, you brought it up. Michigan State is hosting Boston College this weekend. You're already here, chat. Hit that like button for us. We appreciate it. It goes a long way, especially if you want to see more Haley. The likes help for sure. Anyway.
Okay, I'll take it.
How you feeling? I wouldn't say a tough test for Michigan State because they should have won the game last year. But I will say a test for Michigan State as the Eagles come in to Spartan Stadium. How are you feeling? Lukewarm, confident?
I would say lukewarm. I'm not going to say I feel 100% confident in State, but I am going to favor them in this game. I think that they're looking for revenge after last season. When it was Mel Tucker era, I would probably say no chance that they're beating them, but they seem like they can be prepared for it, especially with the fact that Boston College lost so much talent to the draft, and they basically have to rebuild their offensive line, and obviously that is not done quickly or easily, so I think that there's definitely going to be an adjustment period to see if those new portal players can adjust well and play well against Michigan State, because they do have a good defensive line as well to go up against.
They do. And they're headlined by Alabama transfer Dillard Lagerson at quarterback, who put up a great stat line, 4 touchdowns, over 250 yards passing on 26 attempts. So he put up a pretty solid game. It was against Forum. But I just truly believe that this is the test. Yeah. Aiden Childs, if you're going to have a good year, go out and beat who you're supposed to beat. You are supposed to beat Boston College. They are not as good of a team as you. I do think they're better coached. I think having Bill O'Brien, a former NFL coach, on your sideline is an advantage. Mm-hmm. So I do expect them to not have the coaching matchup, but I expect them to have the quarterback matchup. I think that Aiden Childs has shown enough where if he is making the right decision and it is his day, that they will win. And I do believe that they were keeping it vanilla. They were really trying to just keep it under wraps, get him comfortable so they can really let it fly against Boston College. And it will not surprise me if they set the tone with the run game and then work off with the play action pass and really start chucking the ball downfield like Haley wants.
I think the key to Michigan State's success against Boston College is incorporating a run game very early on, as well as Aiden Childs throwing the ball deeper, which we did not see much this past game. But also, Aiden Childs needs to be protected more, as we saw, especially with the second half of that New Mexico game. He got sacked too many times, and you can't give up the ball that many times. And if all of that is improved this game, then regardless, I think it'll be a pretty good matchup, but I think State can come out with the win.
And Chad, make sure you let us know how you're feeling about this game.
Yeah, what do
you
we
think that the offensive line is ready? The defense, drop it down in the comments. Also, smash the like button while you're there. Ryan, don't give your pick for the game because we'll do that at the end of the show. Yeah. But tell us how you feel about Boston College, Michigan State.
You guys mentioned Aiden Childs has to prove his worth. Jonathan Smith has got to prove his worth in this game, too.
Absolutely fair.
He hasn't won a damn yet at Michigan State. What's his most impressive win? Western Michigan? Prairie View? What's his most impressive win? He doesn't have it yet. He doesn't have that marquee win. And if Jonathan Smith, I'm not saying this is a make or break in terms of his job at the end of the year. I'm like, this is going to help or hurt his case because he's got to win. He's got to have a signature win this year. Boston College also. Tommy Castellanos, not the QB anymore there. He really impressed me against Alabama for Florida State. He's not there anymore. And Castellanos did not have a great game last time against Michigan State. Only threw for 140, 150, something like that. But the biggest thing in that game was the turnovers. 4 turnovers for Michigan State to Boston College's 1, 3 interceptions from Childs. They've got to protect the football. And obviously playing at Spartan Stadium, it's going to help them a little bit. But I'm saying in this game, this is a big game for Childs and Jonathan Smith himself. If Michigan State just protects the football, they win this game, I think, comfortably. They do.
I think that's a fair assessment, and we'll make sure that we hit back on that in the picks around the NFL or around college football at the end of the show. Sorry, I got the Lions on my mind. But
as you should.
Fair.
Speaking of going into the Lions' den, that will be Bryce Underwood, as he has to travel to Norman, Oklahoma, and in a top 25 matchup, second start, first on the road. What are your keys for Michigan taking away the win in Norman?
Well, I think that this will obviously be a much more tough game, just a tough game in general, a more fit matchup, of course, especially with the fact that it's Bryce Underwood's first game on the road, so there might be some growing pains there. But realistically, the question is if Oklahoma can run the ball and if they can keep Michigan from running the ball, which I am going to say no, spoiler alert, but I won't give my full thing. I will say, though, that a big disadvantage that Michigan has is not having Jayshon Barham in the first half, which could possibly be make or break.
Yes, it could be. He is, in my opinion, their second most important defensive player on their roster. He's huge. He brings a lot of energy. He brings a lot of physicality. It's a very big loss, in my opinion. And even though the linebacker room is deep for Michigan, I do question whether or not it's enough. But what we're going to need what Michigan's going to need to do is they're going to have to control the line of scrimmage. That is how Michigan wins football games. If their offensive line can set the tone and they can run the ball and make the day easy on Bryce Underwood by all the completions he's going to have to hit are play action, rollouts with open targets, he's going to be able to do that. They're going to have to manufacture easy reads for Bryce Underwood, and the way to do that is by letting Justice Haynes run crazy. On the other side, though, Oklahoma has one of the best defensive lines in the country. They have 2 NFL draft picks on their edges. They have very good defensive tackles. They are the note of the SEC in terms of defensive line. They are very good, and that does give me cause for pause with this young Michigan offensive line. But if anyone can bully anyone, it's Michigan. And that's where I think it starts, affecting the brain chemistry a little bit. Like, this is a Michigan brand. This is a Michigan team that travels well. It does give me question, but I'll tell you my opinion later.
Oh, I gotcha. I would say if you could lose a player in this position group on this defense, I think it is linebacker. As important as Barham is, I think Jimmy Rolder is good. Ernest Hausman has been solid for the last 4 years.
Hausman's been stability central.
Yeah, and Sullivan's not bad either. So if you're going to lose a player in a position, I think it is the linebacking room because they have the depth there already. For Michigan, you mentioned they have to be able to run the football. For the last couple of years, they were successful because they controlled the ground. That's why I think in that 2-minute drill, you saw wide receivers jump offside because they haven't ran a 2-minute drill in years.
That was very impressive. That 2-minute drill really kind of cemented the fact that, all right, I'm buying in a little more. Like I said, I tweeted out, I will wait till halftime to overreact. And I really started to overreact. If Bryce Underwood goes to Norman, Oklahoma, and wins this game, and I know there will be people out there who say, oh, Oklahoma's not what they used to be. They're a very good team with a lot of talent. I believe that Bryce Underwood wins this game. He will be put into a class of the Caleb Williams in the Red River Shootout, the Johnny Manziel's post-Alabama game, Clemson coming out party for Trevor Lawrence, and all the hype that you've been hearing preseason about Bryce Underwood, about how he looks like the next great freshman quarterback, that will truly be answered. If he goes into Oklahoma and wins this game, he will be cemented as one of the most electrifying freshmen in all of college football history. And he showed, like in this game, there were flashes, big flashes. There was also flashes of some miscues, so that's not off the table. But if he goes into Norman, Oklahoma and wins this game, people will talk about him like he is Johnny Manziel, like he is Trevor Lawrence, and that is the conversation that we're going to have to start having if he wins this game.
Right. I do think that this will be a very pivotal game for him. One thing that I didn't see much from him in the New Mexico game is running. Like, I think he needs to incorporate more of a run game for more success against Oklahoma. Another question with Michigan that I have is, do they have receivers that they can lean on? Because that was a bit of a problem in the last game.
I'm gonna say I don't necessarily think if he wins this Oklahoma game, you put him in the class of Trevor Lawrence.
Watch the media do it. Watch the media do it. This is current modern day media. They already anointed him preseason that he was that guy. And he's going to go into a road game and win it? Of course they're going to crown him. They crowned Arch Manning before they even saw anything, which some people told you about.
The media, you can say that. For me personally, I'm not going to say that.
You got suckered right into the Arch Manning hype.
In this Arch Manning hype, sure. Because that was an emotional pick. I hate Ohio State and I hate Ryan Day. But I'm saying to class him in the Caleb Williams, Trevor Lawrence this early off the Oklahoma game, it's going to be an impressive win. Yes. But there's still 10 more games to go this season. Hopefully there's more for Michigan after that. If he can go 11-1, 10-2, yeah, we can start having that conversation. But for this specific moment, if he goes in and beats Oklahoma, I'm not saying he's on the Trevor Lawrence won a damn national championship in his freshman year. I'm not comfortable saying that Bryce Underwood, as talented as I think he is and how good his ceiling is, I'm not ready to say he's on the class and level of Trevor Lawrence after just one game. It's going to be impressive, and I think with his legs, I also think it's fine that we didn't see his legs in that game 1 because that meant he didn't get flustered in the pocket and panicked. You're going to need designed runs, just like J.J. McCarthy did in Washington game, Ohio State game, Alabama game. You're going to need the designed runs there, and you're going to need the designed runs here. But I'm not comfortable just quite yet. I'm saying he's Trevor Lawrence and Caleb Williams.
So, they already anointed him though preseason. I'm not telling you I'm going to do it. I'm telling you the national media will do it.
And I get
there will be thoughts in my mind if he does that and goes in and beats them in Norman. I will be not there yet. I'll need to see a little more, but I'm going to be getting ready. Like I'm going to be like, if he shows out and he beats Oklahoma, I'm going to be. Maybe not to Trevor Lawrence and Johnny Manziel level. I think he does have to earn that type of pedigree. But for Caleb Williams,
Manziel,
I'm there. I'm low key. I mean, if he actually goes in and beats them, I think that there is a valuable comparison to Caleb Williams. And Bryce Underwood started from day one. Caleb Williams did not, and that's important.
We got to look here. Johnny Football beat Nick Saban in Alabama and won a Heisman. Trevor Lawrence won a national championship. I think there's levels to this. Yes, Oklahoma, not on the level of what Alabama was and what Trevor Lawrence did in that first year. I get it. But me personally, the media can do what they want. The media can do exactly what they want because they overhype everyone and downplay some others. But I'm not ready to say Underwood, if they win this game, I'm not ready to say he's that dude just yet.
I'm also not ready
Thank
to
you.
make that big claim after game 2. But Luke Granberg commented, "Is it crazy to say that Underwood is the best 18-year-old you have ever seen?" I would say that eventually soon, but I won't compare him to Trevor Lawrence just yet.
There was other marquee wins before the Alabama game. If you actually watched the build of Johnny Manziel, there were big wins before that Alabama game. Yes, that Alabama game was his true coming out party, but there were other games before that in the SEC where you saw the flash and the potential. So if I see it in Norman, I'm going to be all over it. And they just call me early to the party sometimes, and that's what I'm going to be, because if he wins this game, I will put him on a trajectory of one of the best freshmen that we have seen. And I don't think that's too much to ask, because I do think that this Oklahoma team is very good. This is a very good Oklahoma team with a lot of great skill position players, an elite defensive line. It's going to be a tough test for Michigan and for a freshman, and that's what I want to see. If he comes out of this, watch how you talk about my boy, because I'm coming with a pitchfork to defend this man if he goes into Norman and wins.
Hey, we're still in support, like full support. I think he's starting off strong, and I also think that he's going to lead Michigan to success. But I'm going to be patient on my exclamations until maybe mid-season.
So you think that's an overreaction? I'd be fair to say. So
I can't tell if you're saying media or media and you are going to compare him to all these phenomenal athletes.
It's a skill I
after
picked
game
up.
2.
I'm playing both sides of the coin.
I mean, and that's okay.
It's the Neil Rule approach.
I'll probably be right there with you.
Who lied to me?
But later on.
Yeah.
Who lied to me?
Hey, if he loses, was I lied to that he's the next Trevor Lawrence? Because that's what I was told preseason. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Justin's in a perfect win-win situation, because if he loses, he can be like, "Oh, who lied to me?" He can play the full Neil Rule here. But if they win, he can be like, "I told you so. I told you it was going to be Trevor Lawrence."
Yep.
Hey. It's just how it goes.
He played
sometimes.
his cards right. You played your card right. So
but I was leading us somewhere, and there's a lot of overreaction that happens after week 1 because it's the first time we see football, and big things happen. Obviously, I mean, Bama going down was absurd. Mm-hmm. But we're going to check some of those overreactions. Ryan has made a list of around 10 overreactions, and he's going to give them to us, and we're going to briefly talk about them. Keep it a little blitz style, quick.
Yeah. Say if they're overreactions or proper reactions, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. All right. With the first one, LSU is winning the SEC this year.
I'm not ready to say that because the jury is still out for me on Garrett Nussmeier. I think he had a good game, but not a great game. He was doing a lot of things that I didn't believe he could do. The defense is legit. That's the point where I think that they have a true say in the SEC. They made a ton of great additions in the portal. Their defense is fast. They are electric. They were absolutely clamping down Clemson. I do want to point out they didn't have Antonio Williams, their number one wide receiver, which in my opinion changed the game. But that LSU defense, you can't fake that type of speed. They were coming at you with brute force, and I really think that that's a very good LSU defense. I think they are top 4 contenders right now.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think they're top 4 contenders, but saying that they will win is a no. So in turn, it's not an overreaction, but
I just don't love the quarterbacks in the SEC. There's not really a quarterback other than Norris Sellers that's really grabbing me.
Yeah.
Like Adiz throws in the chat, Georgia, and yes, Georgia will obviously be there. They're Georgia, and they have the claim to the current juggernaut title, unlike Alabama. I just don't know about Gunnar Stockton. A lot of their offense was screens this week, and that's not what I want to see when you're playing an inferior opponent. I want to see you throw the ball down the field and prove that when push comes to shove, when you need to throw the ball down the field, you can, and that's where I worry about Georgia.
Speaking of Alabama, the Alabama dynasty is finally over.
Until they get a new coach. I don't think that DeBoer fits their style. Alabama has loads of talent. They should, on paper, be a top 5 defense in all of college football this year. They should have enough weapons to platoon them through the regular season to get them into the playoff. But they're soft. Constantly, I saw Alabama defenders loafing after guys. I'd never see that under Saban. You never saw them get bullied on the line of scrimmage, but a brand new Florida State O-line was able to bully them on the ground, 4.7 yards per carry. That's not Alabama football. Until they go back to their roots, I'm not a believer in Alabama. I think they can put it back together. I don't think that the season is over after the first game, but they got a lot of stuff that they got to fix if they want to do anything in the SEC this year.
I was disappointed during that game with Florida State, and it does make you question, like, is the dynasty over? I mean, media-wise, a lot of people do think that it is, but I think that they can still stay in the game a little bit, maybe put up less good numbers than previous seasons, but is it completely over? That might be an overreaction.
Yeah, I really hope that it's over because screw Alabama. And if you look at DeBoer's teams at Washington, he did not develop those teams.
No, we did not.
It was mainly Peterson. Number 3, a team that I want back, the U. The U is finally back.
Listen, I love the U, okay? The whole idea of the U is like an intriguing thing to me. I watched all those 30 for 30s on Miami in the olden days. I wish that I was alive during that era. That era looked absolutely elite. The way that they would showboat and just kick the living ish out of teams, absolutely electric. I think that this proved that Carson Beck wasn't the problem at Georgia last year, and that he is very, very capable of being a very good college quarterback, and having the weapons to do so is vitally important. I am not ready to say the U is back, because last year it seemed like the U was back, and then the back end of the season they backed themselves into a corner and missed the playoffs. So I'm going to say moderately, I want to see them play a full season. I think it's in front of them to make the playoff and be in the ACC championship game. Their schedule's tough, though. They got to play Florida. They got to play Florida State. They got to play Clemson. They got to play SMU. And it's a tough schedule. So we'll see about that one. I am lukewarm on that, but leaning more towards yes than no.
I am going to say yes. I had
Thank
already...
you are a pure believer.
I had already said that they would win their conference, so I'm sticking with it.
You should.
They're here, and they're here to stay. And they're here to win.
There we go. There's that confidence.
I really hope that the U is back, and that is one era of football that I really wish I could see. Number 4, Julian Sayin is the next great Ohio State quarterback.
I can't lie. Someone told you that Julian Sayin would outplay Arch Manning and that he would look good doing it. His stats don't even do him justice. 3 drops in his first 5 passes, 2 by Smith, 1 by the tight end. I mean, he looked good. He had some nice spin on that ball, making good reads, evading rushes. I loved what I saw. Well, I didn't love it because I'm a Michigan fan. But in terms of if I was an Ohio State fan, I would have loved what I saw. I think he's got a good command of the offense, and he was playing Texas. He was playing an elite team, and he showed out. And if I was an Ohio State fan, I would be extremely excited about Julian Sand quarterbacking my team this year.
Yeah, and he's leading an elite team on both sides of the ball. I think he's great. What was the question, though, specifically?
Is he the next great Ohio State quarterback?
Yeah, hell yeah. Honestly, I think he's consistent. I think he can do well under pressure. And, I mean, just like you said with the Texas game, like, that's a competitive game, and it's going to continue to be competitive, but he's starting off very strong.
Yeah, I really hope he's not. Next question. Arch Manning is a bust.
Let's relax on the Arch
not a
Manning is a bust topic, okay? It was his first road start. He had to play Ohio State, who has the two of the best defensive players in the country in Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs. That D-line looked to be as elite as usual. I think that you got to give him a pass. He's never played a more experienced defensive coordinator such as Matt Patricia, and you can say what you want to say about his time in Detroit. He called a great game, and he had Arch in fits. Arch was struggling to make routine passes. I do think that there will be an opportunity coming in the next while where we are going to be able to take advantage of the Arch Manning disappointment, and they're going to win a big game that people don't expect them to.
And you know what I think about? I think about how Arch Manning did not choose to be overhyped. You know what I mean? I feel like media plays, such a big role in just chatter, obviously. And with his last name, he's going to have a lot of expectations. Did not come out the way that he needed to with his first game. Definitely had some slowness to him, some jitters, and just too many mistakes. But from that game, it just shows that it's just going to take a growth period to where maybe mid-season, early mid-season, then he's at his full potential. I don't think he played the caliber that he's capable of. So, no, he's not a bust, but, I mean, people are going to make such quick decisions after one game.
There should definitely be questions, but you're right. Everyone is a little too quick to judge.
And I am susceptible to that because
You fell for the hype.
Honestly. Like, a big reason that I was choosing Texas over Ohio State was because of Arch Manning.
Like I said, they really in on those ones. It's tough. It's tough.
Yep, I don't think he's going to be a bust, but he's definitely not going to live up to the hype that it was. All right, I'm going to ask two more because I know we got to get the picks going. The SEC is overrated.
Yes. I just the quarterback play is extremely questionable down there. There is not truly I feel like other than Lenora Sellers, DJ Lagway, I'm really not vibing with in terms of the elite teams. Georgia, in my opinion, has a quarterback question mark. I think LSU is a little more firm, but I'm still not fully there. I think that Texas has concern. I think that there's a lot of validity to that, and you have to have a good quarterback to win a national championship.
Do you think it's too big, not competitive enough?
I think it's awfully competitive. I think that the NIL has flowed the talent out from where Alabama no longer has these premier backups that are sitting there for 2 years waiting to play. I don't think that happens anymore. I truly believe that teams will grab guys, and if they're not playing, they're going to transfer out and go to a smaller school where they can play. And that's what you're seeing with Boston College's quarterback, Dylan Longerson. He literally left Bama because he wasn't going to be the starting quarterback and went to BC.
But is that not a common theme with any conference?
It definitely is, but I think that it only made it more difficult to win in the SEC now since they added Oklahoma and Texas. And there's more teams that are good. And I think that it's only risen the lower level of competition. I think that Mississippi State's coming back to some type of level. I mean, obviously, we saw Vandy last year and what they did. I think there's a lot of quality in the bottom of the SEC more than the Big Ten. I think that the bottom of the Missouris, the all those schools are better than the Northwesterns, the Marylands, all that gutter trash that's in the Big Ten. But as a conference, the top of the conference is better in the Big Ten.
Okay. I think for me, it's hard to say if it's overrated or
It's overrated.
Yeah, overrated or not. I don't know. Like with those questions that I asked you, I'm wondering myself the same things.
I don't personally think it's overrated, but it's not what it used to be. All right, final question. This might be a little controversial. I saw it on Twitter a handful of times after their big victory. Ohio State is going back-to-back national championships.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready yet. I mean, Clemson lost, but they didn't have Antonio Williams, so I feel like I can't move off them this quickly as my national champion. I want to see him on the field and how he hopefully elevates Cade Klubnik, but I do think that they should be the number one team in the country. I think that that's a fair statement to say, and we'll talk about that in a second, who we think is deserving to be number one. I'm not ready to crown. I'm not ready to crown a national champion yet. I think the Clemson game scared me off Clemson a little bit, but I'm not ready to firmly pick a champion. You'd have to put a gun to my head to make me pick a champion.
Based off of today, I'm going to say Ohio State is winning the national championship.
It's very fair.
They are looking number one in every aspect right now. So
you're putting on wax right now.
I'm going to make
like
that
how
claim.
confident?
I'm feeling very confident.
1 to 10. I want to know how confident. I think it's a fair question.
I'm feeling an 8.
Oof. Wow.
But I'm saying that I'm making this claim today.
8.
And we are allowed to change.
You are allowed to change your opinion, no doubt. But right now,
yeah,
a 10 is when you put it on wax. Like that you are full on Ohio State's winning the Natty. I think we're a little ways away from that.
Ohio State is like mosquitoes that like you can't get off of you or something. They're just like keep coming back and keep coming for more blood and succeeding at getting that blood. Yeah.
I mean, they completely reloaded their defense. They lost 4 draft picks to the draft and then replaced their D-line to just look just as successful as they did before against Texas.
They're just juiced up.
Yeah, I would say right now, based on what I saw this weekend, I would think that they are my favorite to win the national championship. I'm going to give it a 5. But, again, I can't wait to look dumb by the end of the season. But, yeah, Ohio State has had 2 losing seasons, I think, since the 60s. So they are always going to be in and around the mix. And they would be my number one team as of right now.
So we got number one for me and from Ryan. Haley, your number one seed right now would be Ohio State. Well, you just said they were going to win the Natty. So I guess that makes sense. Ohio State should be number one. In my opinion, after that, it has to be LSU and Miami. I just think that those big wins deserve to be rewarded, and I know that's not going to be how the rankings unfold. I know Penn State will find their way into the top 4 somehow, undeservedly. But I think if you have any one of those 3 as your number one, it is a very valid take. I'm not going to kill you for it. If you have Penn State at number 1, I will kill you for it because they've done nothing.
Should we move on to our picks?
Yes. Around college football, the moment y'all have been waiting for. Go through the picks from last week. I was 3-3 or 2-3 last week. Haley was 3-2. Ryan, you were 2-3 as well, I think.
Damn, suck.
So Ryan is. Oh no, yeah, you were 2-3 last week. So you
Damn.
are 2-4 on the year. Haley is 3-3. I am 3-3 as well. I am 2-0 on my best bets though. I had Iowa State in week 1 as my best bet, and I had Ohio State in week 2 as my best bet. So we are off to a great start in that regard. But let's kick it off. First game of the slate. Where do you want to start? Do you have a game you want to start, or do you just want to go by the order that I texted you?
Yeah, that.
Order? All right. So, the first game, I lost it. Damn it. I wasn't prepared. I apologize, chat. But while I have you, make sure you smash that like button. We appreciate it. I have it now, though. Number 1 game of the week. Not the number 1 game of the week. That was way too big of a hype train for this first game. But Illinois travels to Duke. They are a 3-point favorite. Start off there. I think this is a very interesting matchup. Number 12, Illinois. First road game of the season.
I'm going to give it to Illinois. I think that their man-to-man coverage is a big thing for them. Their defense is constantly aggressive. I really like Xavier Scott. He's a great corner. Going up against that Duke defense or Duke receivers could be questionable. I think it'll be a good game overall. I know Illinois is favored. Although it's on the road, I am going to give it to Illinois. But my big question is with quarterback Luke Altmaier on if he can handle all the blitzes from Manny Diaz's team. Because that is a
big point.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
Yeah, I'm going to go Illinois. I think this is a game that Brett Bielema normally and always wins. They'll probably control the line of scrimmage as always. I never trust Manny Diaz whatsoever. And I'm going to go Illinois, and I'm going to say Luke Altmaier is going to be the deciding factor.
I'm going to take the points. I'm going to go Duke +3. And I do think that there is a good chance that Duke pulls out this win. However, when you offer me the points, I'm going to take them. I think Duke +3 is a great play this week. I really like Darren Mensah. I think he is a stud. I think he showed a lot of flashes freshman year. And at Tulane, he comes to a Duke team that he's more insulated than he was last year. I think that Duke +3, and I think they're going to win the game, but I don't have to predict them to win the game. I get the +3. So I'm just going to take it and run. As Baylor took it a running last week. Good job, Haley, calling that one. Got to give you your flowers.
Was a good one.
But Baylor back in the picks. Baylor at SMU, ranked SMU, where SMU is a 3-point favorite. I think this is a very intriguing game, and I'm curious where we're feeling about this. And make sure you drop your picks in chat.
I'm going to favor SMU on this one. My big question, though, for them is what does their defense look like? I feel like I haven't gotten a good grasp of it just yet. They definitely need to run the ball well. They have their returning QB, Kevin Jennings, coming back, and some analysts say that he's top 10 in the country. I think he's a great player. Saying top 10, yeah, might be a reach.
I would not be one of those people that said that.
Same here.
But he has a talented arm, and I see him throwing less interceptions and more touchdowns for this season.
Yeah, I'm not a big believer on Kevin Jennings. I'm going to say Baylor got embarrassed a little bit last week. I'm going to say they come back. I don't know. I just don't really know a ton about SMU right now. So in Baylor, I kind of know a bit. So I'm going to go with what I know. I'm going to say Baylor, after their embarrassment last week, they're going to win this one.
This line is stinky. This is a ratty line. Vegas knows something, and I'm leaning right into it. Baylor's season is on the line. Like, literally. If they lose this game, there is no margin for error for this Baylor team. I think Baylor's going to win. And I'm going to take the +2.5 because I always take the points. But I am going to go back to the well. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on me again. I don't give a shit. I think Baylor's going to win. Baylor's going to put up a great fight. They're going to bounce back. I think Auburn was not a great matchup for them because they were able to physically impose their will. SMU will not be able to do that. SMU had 2 pick sixes last week. They struggled to run the ball. Jennings had picks against a terrible. They were playing Texas Eastern A&M. Like, what are we playing? The school for the blind here? No, give me Baylor plus the 2.5. This is my best bet of the week. I originally was going to be the Michigan-Oklahoma game, but that line movement is scaring me. My best bet of the week is Baylor plus 2.5.
I don't buy it because of maybe I'm basing it too much off of last week, but I mean, Baylor got dominated on both sides of the ball. Their defensive line got dominated. Their offensive line needs improvement.
It's fair, but yeah. I'm going out on a limb. I don't like this line. I think it's stinking over to. So I'm gonna take Baylor, and I'm with you. Me and Ryan are riding till the doors fall off here.
Screw it. Let it ride.
That's gonna be a fun game. Another fun game though. Kansas at Missouri.
Yes.
Shout out to our boy Simeon. He will be back at some point this season. He's moving in there down at Missouri at the moment, but Missouri favored by 6 points at Missouri.
I'm going to give it to Kansas. I really like quarterback Jalen Daniels.
Are you taking the points or are you taking them to win outright?
To win.
Oh, all right. She's going for the big boy play.
What's the spread?
Yeah.
6.
6.
But as far as how Jalen Daniels has played so far, last season he had some highs and lows for sure. But, I mean, 2 games in and he already looks fantastic, so I just have a lot of faith in him. I think he's going to keep up this energy for sure.
You know, this is a big this is like an old-fashioned rivalry that they finally brought back. I'm glad to see it. I'm going to simply go for the fact that Mizzou, I'm doing it for you, Simeon. I hope you're watching right now. I'm going to do it for you, Simeon. Mizzou's going to come away with the victory. I really hope that your squad does not come back and bite me in the ass. But, Simeon, I'm doing this one for you. Go Mizzou.
Mizzou -6 for Ryan. I am going to take Kansas +6. I really do like Jalen Daniels. He is a stud when he is healthy. Last year, he led them to an electric end of the season where he had them beating ranked team after ranked team. I really love Jalen Daniels as a player. He's a playmaker. He's got a really good arm. He is extremely mobile. He had 80 yards rushing last week. I like Kansas, and you're going to feed me the 6 points. I love it.
Yeah, he's got the arm talent. He can throw a deep ball. It's really more so using it wisely because I think sometimes he goes full force way too quickly, which can get him into some trouble. But, I mean, overall, the running game is great, and I'm excited to watch this game.
Well, the 2 games you've been waiting for. The Eagles travel to Spartan Stadium. Boston College takes on Michigan State in Michigan State's first test of this young 2025 season. Haley, Eagles or Spartans?
Spartans. I think that, I mean, I don't want to repeat myself too much, but this will be better matched up for them. And like I said, they're looking for revenge. I think that they can come out with a win. Regardless, they're going to put up a good fight for sure. And I don't know, I just don't think Boston College is as good. Not that people think that they're that good, but I don't think that they're better than State. Yeah,
I'm going Sparty. I think this is a game that, if you look at it, the Jonathan Smith regime is it's on thin ice. This is a game that they need to win. This would be a significant win. I think Boston College has the better coach, but I think Michigan State has the better team, better quarterback. Aiden Childs is going to redeem himself from the 3-interception game a year ago. And Sparty, give me the Spartans.
I like Michigan State here. I think that they just have too much talent at the wide receiver position where they shouldn't be able to get huge chunk plays off this BC defense. I don't trust them one bit. I think their offense will show some life, but I'm not worried about Michigan State's defense. I think Michigan State will win. I don't know how handedly, but I think that they're going to win. I feel pretty confident about that as well. I am just hoping that because the game is competitive all the way through, that Aiden Childs is able to lock in, play a clean game. I'm putting a lot of faith in you, Aiden, so please don't make me look like an idiot.
He definitely needs to limit the amount of turnovers and just like mistakes overall. Also for receiver topic, Nick Marsh, I was a little underwhelmed by him in the first week's game, but that's not to say that he is not a big part in the loaded receiver core, and he's definitely going to be a big contributor to their success in this game.
He will be an X factor for sure, no doubt, and he's going to have to be. All right. I actually missed one game. I do apologize.
Oh,
let's go quick.
Iowa at Iowa State.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes the most boring game in all the land, but sometimes it's entertaining, so we got to give it a little due. Hawkeyes, Cyclones, how you feeling?
I'm giving it to Iowa State. Really like how
Reformed.
I know. Really like how Rocco Becht looked in that season kickoff, and I just have a lot of hope for him, even though I was wrong about the Kansas State-Iowa State game. Rocco Becht is going to be a huge contributor to their success. Also, I don't really like Mark Gronowski. Week 1, he was slow, he was jittery.
They did
wasn't
not
playing
look good.
very well at all. So, I mean, if Iowa tries to run, Iowa State defense will definitely shut them down, and I just don't see a chance for Iowa.
Yeah, I'm going Cyclones. I've always been a Matt Campbell truther, and I think Rocco Beck, obviously, better quarterback. But, again, this game never disappoints. But give me Iowa State in, like, a touchdown.
Ooh, Iowa State by a touchdown. I like it.
Wow.
I like it. I'm going to take Iowa State here. I'm not sure by how much because this game is just so funky every year.
Always good.
It seems like there's a clear favorite and the underdog wins. I think it's just a styles thing, but I do like Rocco Beck a hell of a lot better than I like Mark Gronowski. I think that they're going to win this game, and they're going to continue their path to winning a Big 12 championship because they seem like they're primed, like they're going to be one of the best teams in the conference. But watch out for Utah, though. They are looking pretty nice.
I like them.
Coup de grace, the game. Michigan at Oklahoma. Prime time, 7:30, college game day. We are absolutely active. We'll be here, live, pregame show, watch party, postgame show. Me, Ryan, KG, getting active. How you feeling?
I'm giving this game to Michigan. I don't think Oklahoma will be able to run the ball as effectively as Michigan, nor keep Michigan from running the ball. And I think with this game, the success will come from Michigan keeping the score pretty low, because they do have history of being able to come out from those close games with a win with those last-minute plays when the score is low. And it's always going to go back to Bryce Underwood and the fact, but this is the game that we don't have Jay-Sean Barham. But despite that, we're still going to win.
Yeah, if this game was like 2 months later down the road, I'd say Michigan. But I think Bryce Underwood's first true road test to see if he can live up to some of the hype. Obviously, this is the biggest game of the year. But I think that Oklahoma's defensive line, if Michigan can run the ball early effectively, Michigan's got a great chance. However, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Michigan's offensive line is still really shaky. I think Grant Newsome should be on the hot seat for offensive line coach. Oklahoma's defensive line, fantastic. John Mateer, Justin's boy from months ago. That's your guy, Justin. I'm going to take Boomer Sooner. They're going to win this game. And I wouldn't say it's the world's ending for Sharon Moore in Michigan, but there's definitely going to be some questions after the fact, but I'm going to go Boomer Sooner.
I don't think there'll be questions. I do believe that Michigan is not going to win this game. I have to stick to my guns. I have to stick what I know. And experienced quarterbacks win early in the season. Mateer is experienced. Underwood is going to be in a first-time environment. I question whether or not he's going to be ready. I love the spread at 2.5 when it was there. Now it's all the way out to 5.5. So you're going to have to tune into the pregame show on Saturday to hear my bet for the game, because why would I give you that when I can use you on Saturday? So
True.
I appreciate you wanting my pick, but I do believe I know. Alex, shout out to you. You are the man. I appreciate you. You are arguably one of our most loyal listeners, so we appreciate you.
Shout out.
As well as everyone else in the chat. John, Luke, Ryan, Adiz. Shout out to all of you guys.
Shout out.
Darnell as well. I do think Oklahoma will win the game, though. I
agree.
I think that the D-line for Oklahoma is good enough to stunt the run enough. I don't think that they're going to stop the run completely. However, I just think that D-line is going to be so hard, especially for this offensive line. They did not look great in pass pro against New Mexico. So why would I be jumping at the fact that they're going to be able to do it against Oklahoma? I think Oklahoma's unfortunately going to win. I hope I'm wrong. Seriously. It's going to be great, because if I'm wrong, I'm going to be happy as hell. And I'm going to be talking about Bryce Underwood out the wazoo, and I already said that.
Yep.
But if they lose, I'm just going to be, all right, it's going to be taken on the chin. It's going to suck. I'll be right. It's the cost of being right and the cost of being wrong. I truly believe that it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a great game. I think we're going to see what identities truly form between these two teams. It's going to be a great matchup. I'm uber excited to watch it.
Absolutely. And it just keeps on happening.
Yes. Well, that is going to do it for us today. For the College Football Show, I am Justin. That is Haley. Shout out to Ryan, holding it down in the booth. We enjoy every single one of you here, every single day. Please smash that like button for us. We need the support. It helps more than you ever know. And we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.